Hey guys, how you doing? Here with Jason. And one of the questions that our members were asking was, what catalysts are there that investors could look forward to over the next little bit for STILLCANNA? Is there any catalyst that we can kind of look forward to?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of catalysts. I think the biggest catalyst is going to be revenue.
Yes.
And that's what we're striving for. We will be generating revenue the moment that our extraction facilities are up and running. We have 2 contracts, the one with Dragonfly Biosciences, and then of course the one with Biosciences out of Los Angeles. So as soon as those facilities are up and running, we'll be generating revenue. With Romania, I can tell you that everything is ready to go and ready to turn on, and that we're just going through final permitting process. So the permitting process to build a facility like this is quite onerous, and there's a lot of different stages that you need to meet. But we do expect that we'll meet all of those. We're at the final yard line now. We're getting into operational permits, so we've got all the permits that you need in order to produce CBD. Now we're just dealing with like the operational permits. So by the fourth quarter of this year, I mean, really it's going to be about bringing in revenues, and that's going to be the major catalyst because again, we have all the pieces. It's a very exciting story, but people want to see where are your revenues. So I think that's your biggest catalyst.
I agree. How about your share structure? Is there anything that you want to talk about, like as far as your share structure? Like every company's share structure is different. Some plan to have a lot held by management, so that there's not this huge overhang out there in the market, like a huge float. Some like to issue some to some large institutions to get involved.
Sure.
Is there anything you want to talk about with your share structure? Because I know it's pretty small share structure.
Yeah, it's a small share structure. We do have a number of warrants out there that are in the money, and so we've been, it's a good and bad thing because you've got, of course, 50-cent warrants. People are double their investment right now, and so, but that's good because it brings more money. So we've got $4 million that we expect to come in over the next year, which is great. And what we tried to do with this latest financing was put it into some institutional hands. And there's a number of very important funds that have invested in us in this last round, and that's the future, is to try to get those groups getting more involved in the market and taking out a lot of retail shareholders, because this is always sort of where we're at right now. Is you've got a lot of retail shareholders that are involved, and a retail shareholder will get emotionally involved. And so when they see the stock price tick down a little bit, they get worried and they think, okay, there must be something wrong with the company. Whereas an institutional investor looks at it a little bit more long-term. So we're trying to transition. And, the last time I was in London a couple of weeks ago, I was dealing with a couple of larger funds there. They've introduced me to some groups that will be starting to do some institutional road shows. So it's the retail shareholders have been great, and they've really helped us out a lot, and we want them involved. And but I think looking to more institutional money gives you a little bit more stability.
Absolutely.
Because if one retail shareholder that has some 25-cent stock from our last round, again, we've only been around for 4 months. This is a very new company. So when we first started and did our first raise at 25 cents, those shares can get jittery. And if somebody decides to sell, 200,000 shares in a day, it can actually hurt your stock.
Of course.
And so that will change as we get more awareness out there, and as we grow as a company, and as we meet our revenue targets. You're going to see a lot more stability in the market, and we look forward to that.
Great. I have a really good question. Actually, I'll bring up one of the questions here. Will STILLCANNA, this is from Joshua. Thank you, Josh, for your question. Will STILLCANNA be selling product to North America, South America, and Australia?
Well, that's a great question. So, one of our first sales contract out of Poland is with Biosciences, and of course, as they're a private labeler and they're going to be buying our isolate, it would certainly make sense for us in the future to. That's a very easy deal to get done, right? If we have our products formulated, we just give them our formulations, and we give them our isolate or our oil and our labels, and they can distribute. So I think the U.S. is a very easy deal to get done.
Great.
It's something that we've looked at. It's something that we're exploring, and it's something we're going to do. But again, our main focus right now needs to be fulfilling the contracts that we have in place, because if we can fill the contracts we have in place on the large isolate sales, then we're a profitable company. So that's where we want to focus. Now, on the brand side, there is higher margins, of course. And it's something that we're developing with the doctor, and we will, reach that market. As far as Australia, I don't have any connections there. No one on the board has connections there. I'm sure it's a fantastic market, and if somebody wants to reach out that has distribution in Australia and fulfillment, we'd love to hear from them. And what was the third country they mentioned?
South America.
South America. Again, the same as Australia. We don't have any contacts there yet or right now. We're wide open to it. But I think as far as a retail brand goes, Europe would be first. I think US shortly after that, and then we'll see about other countries or other continents.
Okay, great. This is another question about STILLCANNA's thoughts about an effort of entering into the US market. It seems as though our members have an affinity to the US market. Yeah. Is that something that is like part of your guys' mandate? I mean, obviously America's 10 times the size of Canada.
Yeah.
So there's a huge opportunity there.
We have all the ingredients in order to make it happen, right? I mean, we have the packager. In fact, we even have the distributor. And once we've developed the brand, it's a very easy thing for us to accomplish. So absolutely, for sure. We just want to make sure, again, that 90% is focused on the sales we already have in the door on the bulk side. But 10% of our time, we are working on developing a line. And the US makes a lot of sense, and it's we have all the ingredients in order to move that forward.
Very good. I have a question.
Sure.
One of the things I've noticed with companies as they move along with achieving their goals is they try to move to a senior exchange, whether it be the TSX or the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange. We've seen this with a lot of companies. Is that something that you guys are looking to do in the future? Are you looking to move to a bigger exchange?
I think it makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, is as you grow, you can get onto exchanges, and as you move up, there's less impediments for investors to get involved. So for sure, once we've reached our targets, I think the logical move would be obviously to the venture or up to the if we can, we meet the requirements, we'll go as high as we can go. And then of course, dual list on the NASDAQ. We are looking at potentially listing in London.
Great.
We've met with a group in London, and a couple of the funds that are there believe that this is a story, as it's European, that would really speak to the European investors and to the UK investors. I mean, they can go on the shelves at their local drugstore and buy Dragonfly products right off the shelf.
That's fantastic.
For a company that's going to be putting the CBD in those bottles for them, it would make sense to be on exchange over that. So we're looking at that as well.
Another question I have actually is, and I mean, you're an expert at this, so I want to ask you, why is Health Canada not legalizing CBDs? Or do you have any insight on what, like, because they're legalizing edibles October 17th. They legalized cannabis last year, October 17th. But why CBDs? No, I don't understand. Do you have any insight on that?
CBD is very new. A lot of people on the inside have known about CBD for quite some time, but when I was talking about CBD 2 years ago, the investment community did not care. I mean,
it's true.
It was all about, first it was, your LPs, your licensed producers in Canada, and then that had a huge run. And then you had, your multi-state operators in the US and different brands, and then that had a huge run. And so now all of a sudden, the investment community and the people and the drivers behind that sort of community are now looking to what's next. And so CBD was something that was sort of bubbling up a little bit when we had the fortune to get financed and move forward. But governments and they take a little bit of time to catch up on new things. So they're going to try to figure out what is this? What is CBD? And of course, because, CBD, as far as a lot of people think, and it's not me, but a lot of people believe that there's a lot of health benefits with it. I actually do believe it personally, but, as a company in this space, you can't say that it has any health benefits to it. Of course. But, there's no doubt that the people want it. And I think the government's going to have to figure out what it is and how they're going to push it. So what Canada's doing, is maybe they're protecting their LPs, right? Because these LPs took a lot of money out of the market, and the government, I think, would like these companies to succeed. So I think a lot of the licensing will go under the existing LPs, and there'll be a lot of new companies that are coming in through this. It'd be interesting to see how it goes. I think we'll learn a lot about October. We'll learn a lot more in October when they come out with sort of the edibles plan. So we'll see. Canada's a beautiful place, and we would love to have an extraction facility here and get involved. But I would like to sort of see what the structure is going to be before we do that. And I think that potentially STILLCANNA partnering up with a company that has maybe the growing or the acreage, and that maybe we would build the extraction facility could be a very interesting fit for Canada.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. I would love to see it personally, because I do take CBDs and I feel like there are health benefits.
I mean, I hear it every single day. There's so many stories, and I mean every single day. Talking to people in cabs, talking to people in the street. When I was raising money, I would go into my first few meetings, and I'd talk about the CBD thing, and then find out that half the people in the room were on it, and the other half had a friend that was on it, or their parents were on it, or somebody was taking it, and everybody had told me that they see these benefits. So
absolutely,
I think there's certainly something to it, and the people certainly want it, and the governments will catch up. And I mean, I think CBD should be as readily available as vitamin C.
That's great. I have another question here from Joshua. Are you in a rush?
No.
Okay, perfect. Is there a common CBD industry standard metric for cost per unit CBD? And if so, what is STILLCANNA's number in comparison to other CBD producers? Example, marijuana producers have a cost per gram.
Yes. Okay. So
good question, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah. Our cost per gram is estimated around 50 to 80 cents per gram. Okay. Now, we're able to produce it for less for a number of reasons. One main reason is that we're working, our facility in Romania is in this tiny little village called Lista. In fact, we'll be either the first or second largest employer of this small area. And a lot of companies that are in our space will know this, that if you're looking for sort of a PhD that knows anything about extracting, you're going to be paying this person a minimum of $300,000 a year.
Wow.
I can tell you that our PhD is a lot less than that. I can also tell you that our workers with forklifts and this sort of thing are, the cost of living in Romania in this little village is quite low. So our production costs are definitely on the low side. So yeah, I mean, what the rest of the industry is paying right now, again, it's really new. I can tell you that there's companies right now that are paying 11 euros per gram.
Wow.
Just to extract.
Wow.
Okay, so
and you're doing it for 50 to 80 cents.
Yeah. So, but that's and again that's
a big difference.
That's just now, and then you take in the prices of isolate prices at 380 US per gram. It doesn't make sense. So, we've scoured Europe looking for an extraction company that could do what we can do. I haven't found one. So it's very difficult for me to give you that pricing. What I can tell you is that I do know a company that does extracting. It was the lowest price that we could find in Europe, and it was 11 euros per gram.
Wow, that's expensive.
So, and we're estimated,
that's like what, 20 Canadian cents?
Yeah, yeah.
Because the euro is
it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make financial sense.
Absolutely.
So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it's very good. Another question. Cannabis is, thank you, Danny Boy, for this. Cannabis is a volatile market, thus investors are reluctant to invest with companies under $1. What's STILLCANNA's view in obtaining investor interest?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm here, right? I mean, the idea is to just get the story out. And I think the best way to get the story out is through videos. And so that's why we are doing this. And that's why we set up a YouTube channel under STILLCANNA, which shows a behind the scenes look of what we're doing. So, our first video was with our doctor. The next video was in Poland, which we're setting up today. I don't think it's up yet, but it's coming. And then the following one will be in Romania, and just, showing people where the investors' dollars are going. And then, of course, we've got, different as many different outreaches as we possibly can to get the story out. Also meeting with, I was in London at a trade show called Cannabis Europa. And while I was there, I was meeting with all the different funds, and really it's just getting out there and telling your story. Obviously, a big one will be analyst coverage, and we are working towards getting analyst coverage. At the stage that we're at right now, and as new as we are, it takes time.
Of course.
It's a lot of
4
people,
months, right?
Yeah, it's only been 4 months. And so I think we've been able to do some tremendous things in a very short period of time. And I think you need to, when you're looking at companies like this, look into, really dig into all the details. And I know that the deeper that you dig into STILLCANNA, the more opportunity you'll see.
I have a question. One thing I've noticed lately is that Kronos Group came out and said that Health Canada is making it very difficult for these Canadian LPs. Before that, Vivo Cannabis came out and said that Health Canada is making it very difficult for Canadian LPs. Now, what do you think about that?
Well,
because I mean, as an investor, I kind of agree with them, but as a person who's focused on health, I got children,
yeah,
I kind of agree with what Health Canada is doing. I
Yeah.
mean, they're trying to make sure it's done right. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
they're rolling out slowly.
Yeah, for me, I don't use cannabis. I'm not a proponent of it. I think that it kills brain cells, and I don't think it's really a great thing. I also don't think alcohol is a really a great thing. What gets me off is trying to live as long as I can, live a healthy life, and try to build business and enjoy myself in the process, and hopefully building a successful company. So cannabis doesn't really jive with what I'm into, but for sure, if this is something that people are ingesting and something that they enjoy, but I'm also a libertarian, so I think that every drug should be legal. And regulated in this way that you are getting the safest product possible. So yeah, let them regulate it, and if it slows down the process, but saves people any negative complications, then great.
Fantastic. And I got one more question for you. I don't see any other questions from the group here, and I know you probably got to run soon. So last question. Bruce Linton has publicly stated that Canada is a waste of time.
Okay.
What do you think about that comment?
Well, I understand where he's coming from, right? I mean, you're looking at Canada's, just over 30 million people. You look at the other populations around the world, just look at our neighbors in the US, it's 300 million. Somebody quite famous who's a very successful business person, you may know Gene Simmons, you may know.
Oh,
him.
yes.
And so Gene's a friend of mine, and we've had
wow.
multiple business ventures in the past. And when he saw what I was doing in Canada at the time, which was a fashion line, he said, "What are you bothering wasting your time up there?" He goes, "You can become the biggest in Canada. What does that mean worldwide? Nothing." He says, "You become the biggest in the US, and the rest of the world is listening." And
it's true.
So it's kind of true that way. Canada will always follow whatever is happening in the US, and the US is very open to look at any sort of Canadian superstars and or businessmen. They've really made it outside of Canada in most scenarios, and then Canada will come on. So that's why I think it's really important for us to have our US listing, and we do spend a lot of time on marketing to the US because you're dealing with a lot more people.
Yes.
And it's really a percentage thing. So I don't think Canada's a waste of time. I just think that if you're going to market in Canada and you're going to focus in Canada, it's a much smaller segment than if you were to focus in Europe, which is 28 countries, or you're going to focus in the US, which is over 300 million people. So yeah, I mean, it's a great country, but if you make it in the US, Canada will follow. If you make it into Canada, will the US necessarily follow?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. No. I think in the cannabis side, that's maybe the only time it's kind of true, because we came out with legalization on a large scale. So there's a lot of excitement about that. And what the Canada does have going for it is an investment community. They're really good at your startups. Canaccord has been fantastic with us, and I think they're the largest financiers in the world when it comes to cannabis.
Oh yeah,
and they're really good at getting things started. But I think once you've got those started, then you definitely have to market in the US, and you have to market in Europe.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for being here today with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I wish you the best of luck, and our community to be watching very closely. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue with this live stream, and we're going to show you some more information on STILLCANNA, and we'll continue to watch your story. And if there's anything else that you have that is newsworthy, we'd love to be able to cover it. And who knows, maybe one day you'll see Rich TV live in Poland or Romania.
I think I'd love to have you.
Yeah, I would love to go down there. So maybe we can talk about that too in the future. And if you have any other videos that are worthwhile, we'd love to be able to show it to our community and continue to tell your story.
Great.
So thank you very much for being here today.
Appreciate it.
I wish you the best of luck.
Great. Thank you.
This is Jason Dussault, the CEO of STILLCANNA. Thanks, Jason. So we're going to continue with this live stream, and we're going to show you a little bit more information on STILLCANNA. I believe we have a video that we're going to show now. Is that correct? Is it a video we're going to show now? Yeah. Perfect. So I think we're going to be able to put a video here behind us. Hope you guys are having a good day today. Danny Boy's question is, there's an ocean of cannabis companies. What sets STILLCANNA's products above the rest? That's a very good question, Danny Boy. What we're going to do is we're going to pull up some information here. We're going to show you a little video, and hopefully that answers your questions. If you guys have any other questions for me personally, feel free to drop it in the live chat. We'll just continue with this live stream, and we're just going to continue to tell you the story. You want me to pull it up? Okay, so how do I pull it up? On here?
No, with the keyboard.
Oh, with here. So I have to go through my email. It's got to be a better way to do it.
If you go into YouTube, you can find it.
Yeah.
Let's go to YouTube. All right. STILLCANNA. Scroll down.
STILLCANNA channel.
This one right here?
Yeah, if you go into the channel, that's the first video is the one from today.
Here we go. This one right here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
W tym roku mieliśmy założenie, że na 2019 rok wyprodukujemy około 16 ton CBD. Na przyszły rok planujemy znaczne zwiększenie tej produkcji. Myślę, że w bardzo niedługim czasie okaże się, że nasze możliwości są bardzo duże. Nazywam się Zofia Wolber. Jestem właścicielem firmy Olimax. Konopia wyrosłyśmy razem z Krystyną. To była tradycja, że tak powiem, tradycja rodzinna moja, mojej rodziny i Krystyny. Jest to taka, powiedzmy, bardzo rodzinna tradycja, którą zajmujemy się my i nasze dzieci.
As a child, I remember me, my mom, and my grandfather working on the plantation of hemp. I always wanted to do the same as they did. Now we are growing hemp for CBD, putting in technologies, including harvesting and extraction. We're going to grow 1,500 hectares. We're going to process about 500 kilos of hemp flowers per day. And that means everyday yield is more than 150 kilos a day of CBD. My grandfather would be proud of me. Olimax is going to be the biggest grower and producer of CBD in Poland.
Our partnership with Olimax brings farmers that have been farming hemp on land just like this one for the last 20 years. And experience isn't something that you could buy. So we're very excited to be working with Olimax. It's really the perfect partnership. We've got farmers who haven't lost their crops for 20 years and an extraction team that has extracted over 1,000 batches of CBD over the last 5 years.
Moim zdaniem, jeżeli chodzi o przyszłość CBD i produkcji tego olejku, w ogóle technologii przemysłowej, jest to duży potencjał. Pozwoli na to, że zaistnieje tu nowe gałęzie przemysłu i będą ludzie uzyskiwać dosyć duże dochody. Tam inwestycja kapitału zagranicznego jest dla nas bardzo cenna i myślimy, że tutaj również z firmą STILLCANNA będziemy dobrze współpracować.
Typu proces produkcji, zbioru, przechowywania, suszenia, siewu, wszystko u nas jest, robimy to zupełnie inaczej niż robi to, że tak powiem, cała reszta. Jesteśmy szalenie w tym kierunku innowacyjni. W tym roku wspólnie ze STILCANną my możemy się stać naprawdę ofertatem krajowym, że ambicje mamy znacznie wyższe niż tylko, powiedzmy, Polska.
Wow, that video looks so impressive, and it's exciting to see what StillCanna is doing, and to be able to actually sit down with Jason.
Hi,
Really-
my name is Nate, owner of Grower's House, one of the top suppliers of cultivation equipment in the world.
Grower's House. So many cannabis people in the game. So yeah, so just looking into this and doing my research on StillCanna, I'm going to continue to learn more about StillCanna. I'm going to continue to bring you guys more. That's our modus operandi here at Rich TV Live, is to bring you guys good quality content, interview CEOs, and tell the story. I spoke to Jason about, going to facilities and really getting to know this company, and hopefully we'll be able to do that moving forward. If you guys have any other questions or concerns, or if there's anything you'd like to know, please put the comments in the comments of this video. If you like the video, smash the like button, share the video everywhere. And remember, if I win and you win, we all win. So at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being here today. And I'm going to go and do more research and more due diligence on StillCanna myself. I don't currently believe that this is a company that has a great future. And after speaking to Jason and getting a better idea of what the company is all about, I think it's a company that we have to keep on our watch list. We need to keep on our radar, and I think it has the potential to be a major player in the CBD space. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. And if you're not winning, you're not watching. This is Rich from Rich TV Live. I'm signing out. Have a nice day.